management has evolved over the years. And the management we're talking about today is as a result of all these theories and development from year to year to year. And you can see that management has developed based on the technology and the ideas and systems that we have today. We have many concepts that we use in business and management and organizations today to achieve great things that couldn't have been done before. For example, we have things like management information systems, project management. We have really evolved the field of management, and we are seeing the results in our daily work. So the history of management has been adding to the field of management and improving our performance over the years. We don't want to say that there's one particular definition of management that is correct and there's one that is wrong. All these ideas all have their relevant areas that they work best in. For example, a manager who is into sports management will think about a lot of psychological aspects, performance management, how to improve your performance through ideas, concepts. Someone who is managing a factory will be thinking of scientific methods to manage his workforce so that they can give maximum productivity. If you manage a church, you would look at different theories on how to deal with people, administration. So management is broad, and the different parts of management, different theories that we've looked at over the years, all contribute to the field of management as a whole. But if you think about it, management now we had management, and now management has come into different fields. We have marketing management now, operations management. All these things came from the basic management that we have today, and it's expanded. So the history has contributed to making management something worthwhile. When we talk about the functions of management, we saw that it's important that you monitor your environment as the first part of your management duty. So we're going to apply that concept into management as a field. Before we jump into any theories of management, we're going to monitor the history of management. Where did it start from, and how did it progress to where it is today? And then after doing this, it will give us an idea of how and what we could add to management in the future. So we're following what we preach. And I've done a video on the history of management. You could watch that video. But I'm just going to give you a broad history of how management theory has developed. People have been looking for ways to get ahead in business and in life. And it was observed by some scholars that the principles that you use to manage a particular activity could affect that activity's performance. Meaning, the time you put into studying a particular action could help you to manage that action better. And that is where management theory started from. So people started looking at how and what is the best way to get this particular thing done. What and who can get this particular thing done? When do you need to apply what principles to get things done? And these ideas and concepts have been compiled from scholar to scholar, and we built it up into what we have as our management today. But before we go into the details of the history of management, let's talk about the two fields that management came from. We have what we call the classical management, and we have the administrative management school. There were two schools that developed when we started talking about management. The classical management school. These are the people who felt that management is a science, and if you study the way things are done, then you could improve those things and make your mark. I also want you to think of this, too, that the administrative school, they felt that management is about people. That if you manage people well and you have good relationship with people, they can manage their own work. These are the two different schools of thoughts that came up when we were studying management. However, in today's day and time. However, today we see that there are circumstances where you follow management as an administrative duty, and there are times where you need to follow the scientific method. So even if at the time they were studying these ideas, they felt they were separate and everyone felt their own theory was correct. But the reality is that today management is a mix of classical methods and scientific methods. So we will skip to the video where we talked about this in detail. You can get more information about the classical and administrative methods of management. But here I'm just going to talk about the difference between the two so that you can understand. The history has brought us to where we are today, and we have to look at the history of management because it's a fundamental principle of managers to monitor their environment, monitor their history, so that you can know where you're going to in the future, because your history is a good indication of where you're going to get to in the future. And the management theory is divided into the classical school and the administrative school. The administrative school, we feel that management is more of personal relationships with people, while the classical school of management, they feel that management is more of a science and it should be dealt with as a science. There should be formulas, theories, principles that you apply to particular things in particular ways. While the administrative say it depends on how you approach people, how you talk to people, how you relate to people that will give you the performance. But I say in today's century, in this century, management is both. It will all depend on your circumstance and your situation to know which level of management you are going to apply. For example, if you are running an airline, you want your airline operations manager to follow the science. You don't want him to deal with personal relationships because, yes, he could deal with that, but you want to ensure that people are doing things that should be done when they should be done at the right time, so you don't have plane crashes. Yeah, when you're talking about other things like staff attendance and all, you can build relationships with people and you can encourage them to do their work better so they do things on time, they arrive on time. But when we're talking about the technical side of the business, we want to follow the science. We don't want to be doing personal relationships when it comes to something as serious as the functioning of the plane. But treating customers, maybe flight attendants, treating the customers in an airline company, you could follow the administrative school of management and talk to them, interact with them, let them have a good attitude towards their work. And you don't have to be scientific about it. But you want to deal with the scientific aspect of management when you're dealing with the pilots, because they need to get their job done specifically at the time they need to get it done and be very effective at it. So these things are